Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
I'd like to George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
We begin our coverage of Sharp Ends, the next entry in Joe's catalog. And to start off, we read through A Beautiful Bastard. So let's get started. Before we get into the usual stuff, folks, just want to say, I want to thank Harrison and George for commandeering the ship for the time being, while yours truly was out and about, on a secret mission, aka drinking at work. So, just want to thank you all for being patient. And from what I know,
if any of Jeffrey's coworkers or boss ever does listen to the podcast, he really is fucked.
Really am, and they know of it too. I really am.
He should be working right now, and he's doing this instead.
Don't say that out loud anymore.
Yeah, Jeffrey's only allowed to drink at work, not to record a podcast at work.
But yes, Jeff, we missed you very much. It was very sad that you couldn't participate. Obviously, you couldn't do the Devil's one because you still haven't read the book. But
I was extremely anxious trying to do the outro and intro, so I'm sorry to everybody who had to endure that.
You did well. You did well, man. Don't worry.
Yep. Well, no, I heard you did a bang-up job. I heard you boys just killed it, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You boys did a great job. So thank you. Now,
thanks, Jeffrey.
No problem. No, thank you. Thank you for keeping the ship operating and running. Thank you.
Okay, MSR Jeffrey can go home. We're
Now, speaking of thanking, I want to continue to thank somebody, and that is you, the audience. I want to thank you for your support. We want to thank you for all of the love and the adulation you provide to us, the support. It means so much to us. It's been a trying time, and I just couldn't do it without knowing that you guys really care about us. I just can't even fathom not having you guys around.
It's funny because anytime Jeffrey uses that voice, he's smiling the entire time.
Yes, it is true. I do smile a lot, apparently. But again, we seriously want to thank you all. It's, a burgeoning community with the First Law fandom. Love it. And then obviously with our own little community on our own Discord server, it seems to be growing still, and it's pretty cool. We like to see that. And just want to remind you loyal listeners, and I mean you loyal listeners, to follow us on our social media platforms, please. Even if we are not active, just do it, all right? Just moral support at this point, all right? Moral support. So please, just go on and follow us at Circle the World Podcast. Just search, and you'll find us there. And if you need, shoot us an email with any questions, comments, maybe a correction. Maybe you want to correct the Adeptus Historical on one of his many mistakes, right? And instead of letting me do all that,
you should join in. Be a dick.
Email us at circletheworldpodcast@gmail.com, and we will at least read your email. Respond. Chances are yes, maybe, but yeah.
Give us a week. We'll get back.
Give us a 9.
It's better than the Spotify comments, at least, where we don't even see them for a week or two, and then it's like, oh shit.
And then Spotify's like, hey, you got 6 comments. We're like, what the fuck? We didn't know. But we do love the Spotify comments. Jose, keep them going, right? Please do. Yeah. Hell yeah. But we'll move on to our next segment, and this is a pretty quick one. You all know, right, that Sir Spaceman of Reddit fame is going to be running the House of the Meme Maker meme every chapter for Sharp Ends. The sign-up sheet, if it's not out by the time of this recording, it will have been out, I think, within the week or so, right, George?
Maybe.
I can't make promises on anybody else's behalf, but we are recording this 3 weeks in advance, so chances are good.
Don't make me come up there, Sir Spaceman.
You know what happened last time.
Time to seize the day.
We know where you live.
Watch this. He'll never listen to this.
You're like, oh no, these fucking maniacs. So we'll move straight on into our chapter read through. And again, it's just a one chapter, but it's a beautiful one. A big, beautiful one. A big, beautiful bastard one. So, timeline wise, we are in Kadir of Kanta, aka the Gurkish Empire, aka Gurkul. So, I was about to do the whole BKA thing again, but we are in Kadir in the spring of 566. Harrison, do you have any qualms, complaints, or questions about the timeline before I get
this timeline is the only timeline change in the entire series is the one that Joe makes at the end of this book with Made a Monster.
At the end of this book. Okay.
Which I will point out and clarify then. But for this does line up because we know that the Blade itself happens in 575, and we know that the charge happened 9 years before the Blade itself because West and Glock talk about it in the Blade itself. And then we know that this war is going, from this point on, will continue for another 2 years, at which point Glock will then be sent back, and it's been 7 years since the war ended in the Blade itself as well. So everything lines up perfectly.
Perfectly. Okay.
In fact, this point, I believe this point, other than Made a Monster, is the earliest point that we have seen in the series. Besides Made a Monster, which is a retcon timeline, which I'll have to double check that. But it may be the earliest time frame that we see. And it's cool to think about that too, because this being 9 years before the original trilogy, we get to see so many people in this one chapter. It's insane. I know that Joe did this post, right? Like, obviously he's like, oh, this will be fun to add, but he does such a good job at rolling them all, so many characters into these small scenes here, and there's so much character work in such a small way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what he does here because we are solely in the POV of one Salem Ruse. Now, folks, we know dearly just who Salem Ruse is, right? If we are just going off of the Blade itself, yeah, Salem Ruse was
a pussy,
a big fat pussy, a rich fat pussy,
and also corrupt and steal stuff as well.
Yeah,
that's what he got. Sorry.
What guild was he part of? The Mercers, the other one.
Yeah.
And so basically, that's the one where Glockta started to interrogate him, and Salem goes, "Oh shit, Glockta, we're homies, we're boys, aren't we, from the army?" And Glockta goes, "You thought wrong." And then tortured him, and then sent him to what's that place over in England? The what?
You got it. It's England.
No. What's the name of the penal camp? The colony.
I don't know if it had a name. I think they just called it.
It did. No, it had a name. Fuck. What was it? It was something. Anyway.
The one that Inquisitor Lawson was in charge of.
Yeah, Lawson and Cathal, and then Vic. Anyway, Michael Vick. So Salem Ruse is out here kind of like cumming his pants, watching Glockta spar against 3 hapless boys. Let's just be honest, like one of them's at least a teenager or something.
Yeah.
Salem Ruse is just bussing. He's just bussing.
The way that Pacey does the voice as well is so good. It's like, yeah. Teach him a lesson.
Because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, a lot of this chapter is Ruse properly describing Glockta as a whole person, which is interesting because it shows Ruse's intelligence. He admits that he knows X, Y, and Z, but he also just wants to be like Glockta or whatever. So yes, exactly. George, whenever I know that you read this chapter and you have some lines of descriptions of Glockta that you absolutely love, so I'm excited to hear you say them with your beautiful, beautiful accent. Do you not?
I can't remember. It's twice today, and I can't remember.
Oh man! Well,
don't put me on the spot.
It'll come
I'm
to you.
sorry. I thought you already had some picked out because you always like. I love this description.
When it comes to you, you'll see it. You'll just chime in. But what I really like about this too is that this is our actual true look at Glokta in his prime, right? As far as we knew about Glokta, from what we saw, he wasn't doing too well on the physical side of things. And anytime anyone talked about his past, it was in awe of his physical abilities in terms of a fencer, as a swordsman, the greatest swordsman the Union has ever seen, as well as and also people were pretty honest, like, yeah, he was a dick, but we never got to see like a real flashback, and this is a proper one, and that's obviously where I'm a big fan of seeing that here.
Yeah, we only ever see that part of the world or that part of Glokta's life from his dreams. Like we see like him going, Colonel Glokta did this, and it's just like a very short snippet of him being confident, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, you're absolutely right in that we get like a good description and this scene, which is absolutely like it's a great depiction of this horrible like peer pressure, like hazing circle. Like you can tell like almost everyone there is thinking the same things that Ruse are thinking, but everyone's still going, yeah, you beat those 3 recruits. It's great.
Yeah, you beat the shit out of him, and I do like that we see things like we see Lord Marshal Varuz, which we haven't seen since assumedly tower fell on him in the last Argument of Kings. But we see him obviously in his. This was you said about 8 years. How long ago was this prior to Blaze of? 9 years.
9 years.
Okay, so it's not that much time. So he's still in his elder years. We see
he's about 26 here. That per Glokta's own statement of his age being 35 in the blade itself.
Gotcha. Okay, so we see him. We see Colonel Croy and Colonel Polda. Oh, we remember them, right? We remember them. Love them both. Love to hate them. Love to love them. All that stuff. And man, it is crazy to just see how. It's one thing to hear from other people's mouths like what Glokta used to be like in terms of his arrogance and how how he treated people. Then you actually see him and you're like, oh wow, oh no, yeah, wow.
He's somebody who basically you take the genetic dice and you put them on double sixes, and then you put them in nobility and in the most powerful country. Debatably at their prime, economically speaking, and such, for that class and time frame in this universe, and then you put him in the army and you watch him go. Like he's got maxed out charisma, maxed out intelligence, maxed out dexterity. He's one of those people who are so charismatic. He's like an evil Henry Cavill. He's like like he's got it all, baby.
Got it all. That's so funny. Oh man, it is. It's I don't know. It's crazy.
I think something that it's hard to describe. A lot of the stuff is just descriptions of Salem Ruse. He basically talks about how he adores him and he loves him, but he hates that he feels that way. He hates that he gets caught up in the moment. He hates that everybody else follows along. He hates that if he doesn't do what he says, not only because he's a superior, right? He will also be bullied. And that's like I think Glokta's real thing that he does here inside his previous life. Is that he has the sway of the crowd. Like he's got perfect charisma. Everybody will do what he says just because he asks them to do it. And I think that this generational thing that we see with all these characters is what makes this chapter so enticing. Joe does the generational stuff so well because there's so many overlap of characters and foreshadowing and character work that has parallels later things in the series. And even though he obviously knows all these characters now, he's not like he's currently writing them. He's setting it up that way on purpose. He is so consistent at this. One of the after he beats the 3 recruits, right? There's a whole bunch of civilians there with him too, watching. And one of those civilians is Lady Wetterland, a newlywed to an old husband. We the old husband is mentioned inside the original trilogy, but this young Lady Wedderland is never seen. But she is unfortunately seen way too much in the Age of Madness. But it's so interesting to see her pop up here after because when Joe first wrote this, she wasn't a character yet inside of the Age of Madness, but he went ahead and ported her over from the Sharp Ends, which is cool.
Ooh. Okay. Another thing that you were talking about with Salem is also like it's this interesting thing that happens when we talk about admiration to the point of
sycophancy.
Yeah, but in a way where it's like it's love, but it's also the other side of hatred, where he even talks about it's a carefully concealed hatred, right? Where it's almost like you obsess over this person so much that you also hate him. And that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. And obviously Salem is recognized that he recognizes that, as you said, Harrison. And he that's where he's really able to kind of like give us that minute detail, but a pretty like honest assessment of Glocta.
Yeah, because like he's, like you said earlier, like he's got all these gifts, and he's got all of these advantages in life, and then Ruse is like, surely all of these things together would make this, the most pleasant man in the Union, but and then it's a full page of he's just a cunt. He's just an absolute piece of shit. I especially like Tornado of Bastardy. That is, if I ever started a band, Tornado of Bastardy is up there. Brilliant.
Yes. I think there's a lot to be said with Joe's writing and Sharp Ends. One reason why it's so enticing to the readers, his biggest fans like us, is the fact that it's almost like Joe was like, hang on, let you guys maybe are getting confused what Glocta and Logan are. And I won't talk about Logan at all. I'm just saying as an example, he also gets the same treatment where you go, look at their past, look at who they were. They are different. But in order for you to understand why people perceive them in this way, you people are different and people do change. And these people they are much worse. Interestingly, they both are people who are their most prime in these scenes, but also their absolute worst selves. And that's such a unique storytelling aspect of this book.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think both their stories bookend this book, right? I think he starts off.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I like it. And something that I don't want to make sure we don't let this get lost is that Salem Ruse in the beginning of this chapter does talk about, while jerking off over Glocta, he does talk about how the army in Kanta is they're kind of messed up in terms of supplies, right? They're trying they're not enough wages. I'm sorry. The wagons are degrading. They don't have enough supplies for their soldiers or their horses, or it doesn't look like it's going too well in terms of the supply train. So right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're trying to cross the bridge, and everything's getting, as you do when you cross a bridge and you're in a big army, everything gets disorganized and flung all over the place. And what are the command doing? They're watching a fencing match.
Yeah.
So,
now
that's exactly what we expect from the Union at this point.
Very true. I will say, according to this, they were able to get everybody across, but it just took them all day, that narrow bridge. But because of the chaotic nature of this, this might lead somewhere. I'll just say. And we get to the point where after Glocta embarrasses those three kids, he
he then goes to Wedderland and is like, hey,
before he does,
like, what's up, babe?
Actually, wait, before he does, while this buffoonery is still taking place, Major Lieutenant West, Colonel West,
it's Lieutenant
West, because whatever. He makes it what? He
not you, Jeffrey George.
Lieutenant.
Left what?
Show me where the F is there, buddy. Please.
Yeah, we can go over that again. I'm not getting into it.
We're not doing it today. We haven't had any problems up to this point.
Anyway, Lieutenant West arrives, and he's there in defense by Salem. And Lieutenant West is younger. I don't want to say not as angry because we both know that's not true.
He's like, man, I could have beat my sister right now. West is trying to. He's coming up to Salem Ruse, and he's like, "Hey, Salem, look at all this. Look at this." Because Salem Ruse just took a look at the army as Jeff just described what a mess it was and everything. And like George said, the commanders are just watching. They don't really care. But as always, West is like, "Hey, this isn't right. We got to do something. Like, this is a mess. The baggage train's all strewn out. The men are exhausted. We're very vulnerable." And Salem Ruse is like, why do you care? He's like, what? It's not our problem. It's not our regiment. Our regiment's up here. It's all good. Like, whatever. And interestingly, this is, it's never directly mentioned. Maybe it is, but this is the first regiment of the King's Own, which Glokta is in charge of. And we know this because another character in this is also Tunny. Tunny's also here. And also the first regiment's always the first one out there, right? So first regiment's up on this hill waiting for everybody else to get over. And West is the only one who cares. So that's very consistent. West is stressed out. He wants to prove himself. He cares. He doesn't seem to have changed too much in that way, at least.
Absolutely, he's the only competent soldier in the whole fucking place. As we see time and time again.
Yeah. If he wasn't such a maniac, then I would say he's the best man in the company. You know?
Yeah, best man in the company. Absolutely.
Salem Ruse too. Like whenever he's talking about Glokta, it's so interesting because we know where he ends up later on, and the idea that he was so fanatic about following Glokta and how he wanted to be him, but he also hated him because he hated how he was a bully basically. And then at the end of the
context as well to like his journey through, before they hanged in the Lost Argument of Kings, when we meet him and we found out again about him, and we must know like how much he deeply hates him by that point, and that kind of gives so much more context to it. Yeah,
he's not just there because Glokta sent him to England. He's there because he has finally he finally has the strength to like mental willpower to say, I've had enough of you, Glokta. Time for you to die. But this also gives context to the fact that Pike still gave him a chance to show him something else. Because in his deepest of hearts, he still wants to be Glokta. He still wants to be this powerful being. And it's crazy. I think it's so good. It always gives me chills each time I think about it. The fact that Pike does get to become that. He does get to become what Glokta actually is. That is so cool. It's incredible. He becomes the very thing he swore to destroy in England, and he comes back and becomes, his Inquisitor exempt, and then Superior Pike, and he is this character who goes through this journey, and this story gives, like you said, so much context to that. It's like Glokta still kind of won. He still kind of was like, no, listen, check this out. He's still got that charisma, and Pike is, you could say he's still that same man in a way. Like Joe does such a good job at showing these characters. Yes, they change and they're different, but they also they stay the same, just like in real life. People seem to stay the same, even though they do change over time. It's just so well done. We get to see so much of that moving forward in the series.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about more about Pikers in the future as well. But
oh yeah.
And so West comes up to Bruce and he's like, it looks like there's some some fucking problems down there, and Bruce is just like been wrong-footed, has he? And then congratulates himself as this might have been the thing that Glokta might have said.
He's such a little bitch.
He's such a little wimpy bastard. I love him.
No wonder, like inside of the blade itself, again, such good storytelling is the fact that West just is like, oh yeah, what's that one fat guy's name, the really funny one? West doesn't have any resentment towards Salem, but Glokta, when he first meets him, is like, look at this fucking worm. Look at this spitted whale. And we can see why. Like, this would be annoying to have some little fat man following you around, be like, yes, do it, Glokta. It's so annoying. But again, Salem Ruse shows his intelligence the whole time. He's able to glean all this. It's that moment in England where he gets burned, where he actually gains, like, he becomes a self-driven person at that point. He actually
Absolutely.
becomes who he's supposed to be.
I mean, it's probably that, apart from being beaten by Frost, it's probably like the most insane trauma that he's ever been through in his life, and obviously that changes people to an insane degree. So
Yes.
becomes a harder person because of it. Not that I'm saying that you should go and be horribly traumatized to become hard. I mean, that doesn't really work in real life, but it probably works about 1/10 of the time, maybe. So
when you say hard,
proper hard, like,
yeah. And then whenever we get these moments. See who's everybody we get in this chapter. We get there's a couple of people. There is I think Captain Valamir or Lieutenant Valamir is in here as well. I don't know if Forrest is mentioned. This is one book I don't actually have as a hard copy. I just listen to the audiobook. So I know that Tunney's in here as well. Tunney is actually Glocta's, like, his standard bearer. His, like, it's almost like his squire.
Yeah, like his valet.
He's Corporal Tunney. Yeah, it's his valet. Yeah, he just got promoted to corporal, which he will stay at that rank for a very, very long time. And
but we got to bear in mind as well, like the greater part of the war is still ahead of them at this point as well. So this is got to be before what's the name of the big battle that West is the first in? Auriok. This has got to be before all of that, because that's towards the end when it's all decisive. So Tunney is still bright-eyed and like eager at this point. But in the next 6 months or so, he becomes Tunney.
Well, debatably, this moment that we're about to witness with him is one of the reasons why he is the way he is, I think. So
we also Polder and Croy as well, obviously, honorable mentions.
Yes, they don't do much. There is one line, and we'll skip ahead just a tiny bit here, but I'll just say that, whenever they do see the Gurkish army coming, Polder is like, "Oh, we can stop him at that bridge," and he's like, we can hit him with a decisive cavalry charge. He's still got that notion, but then Croy is like, "A lot of men will die," or something like that. He's like, he's more sentimental about it, which is such a good detail. That's Croy's only line, other than, one of them is like, "Oh, well, my regiment's more depleted than yours, Polder," and then the other one is like, yes, good match." Those are his only lines. But like him and Polder, they've got one line showing that they're trying to gain the favor of Varuz, which is in line with their character. They're both vying as a career to be promoted. And then the next line they have is them being like, well, my regiment's screwed. Well, my regiment's more screwed. We can't go. And then we have this. And then they both have a line showing more of their character. Polder wants to do the decisive moment, take the lead, charge in, and Croy is more sentimental. He's more worried. He's more cautious. And that's so much character in such a short period of time. It's incredible. Perfect.
So, like, West is talking about how this whole issue with the chaos is going to turn into a big problem any minute, and it's so funny because Ruse is like, the supply train's always like that. He says, being the one in charge of the supply train. But it's never, like, explicitly pointed out. Like, that's the quartermaster's job. That is your job.
Yes, but to be fair, he is the quartermaster of the 1st Regiment, which.
But that means that you're. Yeah, that's fair. But, like, also, there's like a hierarchy, isn't there? Like, the first one then kind of goes down and it trickles down.
Yes.
So he should be like telling them what to do, but he's not. He's watching the fucking fight like everyone else. So, if you think about it, this is all Salem Ruse's fault.
It is. The whole series.
The whole series is just because Salem Ruse is fat.
I like how it's not because of him. It's because he is fat. So he gets done with he gets done beating those recruits, right? And he's like, he's showing off. He's like, "Ma, who else wants to fight? Ma." And Wes is like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Oh, we didn't do the Lady Wetterland bit yet.
Oh, that's right. She
Right, hold
Lady
on.
Wetterland is like, "Oh, I've got to." She's like, "Oh, I can't do it with a straight face. I'm sorry."
I'll do it. I'll do it. So,
Do it. You're so good at this. And yes, Valley Girls approve. They are in a valley, and she is a girl from the Union. So go ahead.
okay. So at this time, there's a bit of a break, right? And Glocta, being the man of the ladies that he is, he goes on over to where they are congregating by this little fence, and it's Lady Wetterland. And are we named? Are any other ladies named here? No, no, right?
No.
And well, basically, they're chit chatting, they're hanging out, and then Glocta does this thing where he's like he doesn't give him a lot of space. He kind of like pays 100, like all his attention is on Lady Wetterland, and
Take
he's like
notes, gentlemen.
take notes, and he's like, might I borrow your handkerchief? And Lady Wetterland is like, oh, well, why ever not, Colonel? And she reaches to take her handkerchief from her bodice,
Bosom!
from her bosom, from her breasts, from her boobies. And,
Oh, we're still 12.
and she's like, and then out of nowhere, Glock does like ping, and he takes his little swords and he basically dashed it out of her hand, and it came fluttering in the air, and he snatches it and he dabs his forehead, and he's like, my thanks. And she's like, by all means, keep it. Consider it a gift. He's like, I shall keep it close to my heart and perhaps return it later. And she's like, whenever you have a moment.
Bow
this time,
chicka
folks,
wow wow.
by this time, she is already married.
She is. But as we know, as we will come to find out, Lady Wetterland is perhaps the biggest bitch of them all.
Jesus, biggest bitch of them all.
She really is. You may not remember, Jeffrey, but you will. He does this motion, and something I'd like to point out too, like him being a colonel, he's the same rank as Colonel Croy and Polder. So he debatably would be, if he had stayed in the army and nothing had gone wrong, he would be Lord Marshal by the blade itself. No doubt. I have almost no doubt about that.
Yeah. He might not even be that good at it, but he'd definitely be the Lord Marshal.
So, at that time, Glockta's like, I need a challenge. And obviously, the other colonels and Lord Marshal Varuz are looking at something along the west, I believe, or the east. And he looks at Salem Ruse, and he's like, how about you, man? And then Ruse, he goes, oh, I couldn't possibly. I hate to embarrass you. Now,
I know, I could just imagine, like, if it was a film, like the whole thing just goes silent, and there's just crickets. Like,
and it's like,
yeah.
He's got like the Morty voice.
yeah, it's like,
I don't know, Glockta. I think you'll win.
But instead of saying that, he's like, I'll hate to embarrass you, and everyone's like, ooh. And then Glockta's like, where? Well, I'm embarrassed whenever I find myself in the same room with you. You're supposed to be a soldier. How the hell do you stay so fat when the food is so bloody awful? I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, my God.
It's savage. He just immediately, Glockta goes to 1,000 immediately. He's like, you little fat pig. And he's like, damn.
And then Salem's like, well, I've always been fat, I suppose, even as a boy. Very fat, hugely fat. I'm a very fat man. And then Glockta kind of just like, ignore, whatever. And he sees West, and he's like, Lieutenant West, how about you? Me? Yes. No. Yes. Come on. All right. And then he goes, but I don't have my blunted steel with me. He goes, so use your battle steel. West is like, sir, you're tripping. And Glockta goes, it's okay. I could do it. All right. And then go on. And so then fine, Glockta peer pressures West into doing it.
Yeah.
And then
now this is interesting. Then as they're getting ready, West is obviously like he seems to be like everyone's like, oh, West, it's Lieutenant West. He's practicing for the turn. They say he may try to do the summer contest. So there's a couple things to note that seems interesting. I don't know if it's an inconsistency or just a clarification that we're missing. But it's implied in the blade itself that West gets his commission because he wins the tourney. However, here, he's not won the tourney yet, as they specifically state, because Varuz is now training him now that Glockta has won. So
I feel like like much with the real world, like the ranks for the commission start at a certain level. So there's a certain level that you can rise to as a peasant, and then after that, because he's what was he a major when we start playing itself?
Yes, he is.
So I would assume that would be the first rank. That would be the rank that you could get once you've got your commission. But the common soldier can become a lieutenant or
like a squad leader. Yeah. I got you. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes total sense. But I will say it's to the note there too that in the first trilogy we get the impression that he trained hard in this tourney and he got his commission in the King's Own. But really, he got the commission on his own. He got the lieutenant before probably anybody else of that same rank did. I mean, we saw how long it took. We will see how long it takes Forrest to get to that point. So he obviously was exceptional to some degree anyways. But it's interesting to note that Glockta never even knew that he won the tourney until after he got back from Gurkle. I don't know why that's interesting to me. I just never thought about it until this.
No, he didn't win the tourney. I don't think he won the tourney at the time. He was training with Varuz at the time. Oh, you're saying until
correct.
Right. Oh.
Yes. Glockta never even knows if he wins his competition until after he gets back, obviously. I'm sure
I just said that, but then I've just looked it up, and a lieutenant is actually a proper commission rank. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe.
So I don't know if Joe just made a slight error or whatever. It doesn't matter that much, but it is interesting to note that he has not won the competition yet at this point. He's training with Varuz, so that's interesting to me. It shows West's credibility. He actually, Joe is like really boosting West up here because. I don't think we need to get too much into the fighting details because we have plenty of other things to talk about. But they get into this little bout with each other. Glockta is probably not trying his best here. He kind of does show he's trying to play with West. But West is not playing around, whether because he doesn't want to be embarrassed or he's trying to prove a point to Glockta, whatever it may be. And they've trained together before. And so Glockta's like, oh, you think you can take my place in the tourney? He's like, you think you're better than me now? It's unclear how much he's actually jesting and how much he's just trying to pull at West strings because, as Salem Ruse points out, like despite everything with West and him being his quote unquote rival or whatever, Glockta has the most respect for West out of everybody, even though he's a peasant. That's what he says. So that is super interesting. There's a lot of things to unpack there, but as they're fighting, basically. At one point, Glockta basically is like, he goes for something a little bit too audacious. West counters it and gets into his guard and hits him with his shoulder and knocks him off balance. Pretty hard. And Glockta has the reaction of like, how dare you? And he's like, I guess. He like looks around. Everybody's like, oh my god, somebody did a touch on Glockta. It's West. West did a touch on Glockta. Glockta's like, all right, it's time for me to lock in. Tunny, get me my battle steels. And everyone goes.
Oh, and I love seeing Tunny at this youthful part of his life. So young and so devoted to Glockta. He's like, all right, I'll get your battle steels. I'll do it.
he just got promoted to corporal.
I do like this little point as well, where when West points out that Varuz has been giving him some training, and Glockta's like, "Oh, I didn't realize we were seeing other people, sir."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, you can almost like feel the jealousy there." He's like, "Oh, he's trying to take my place," and he actually just says it. He'll say it as well, doesn't he? Like, "You're trying to take my crown, are you, West?"
I think that he does respect West, but he doesn't like that he's doing that. He likes West to be in his little spot. as his friend, as his.
He wants a protege. He doesn't want
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
he
that's
just
the
says
vibe I
he's
get.
not ready to abdicate. That's what he says, and I think he
Yeah.
does like that West is trying because, like, remember, he says West is one of the one of the very few people that Glock actually respects, and we do
It's
see
true.
that a little bit later. So I think it's always like I think he likes that West is practicing, but Glock just needs to always make sure that
He's
I
the
need everyone
best.
to know
Yeah.
I'm the best, I'm the man.
Yeah. That's just a good point, Jeff. I think you're right.
And then, like you were saying, West actually was able to like basically charge his ass in in the shoulder and everything. And Glock is like, yeah, all right, let's do it all battle steals now. Let's do it.
You want to fuck around?
He even
West's
just
like, no.
cut him on the face, doesn't he?
Yes.
No,
He
I think
he
it's on the
draws
neck.
blood.
It's a slight on the neck or something like that.
Mm.
I think. But yeah, he's like, let me get my get back. Let me get my get back. West is like,
Yes.
nah, son. And then apparently there's some commotion where the ladies are at, and then Varus and Croy and Polder are looking off to the distance as well. I think one lady faints. It might have been Lady Wetterland. I'm not sure, but the basically they see way off into the distance that the Gurkish army is like kind of like arriving.
The Gurkha's army?
Yeah. They see on the far side of the distance, on the other side of that bridge, a bunch of infestation of black dots was gathering. And everyone's like, oh, feck. So Varuz is like, all right, hold on. Major Miderick, get down there and hurry the men along. Tells Lieutenant Valamir.
Yeah, that's Miderick is the other one I forgot about,
Yeah,
George.
Miderick we saw in the Heroes. Valamir that we also saw in the Heroes.
He did. He's Croy's general chief of staff, sorry.
Yeah,
but he's also like, he actually mentions this inside the Heroes. He says, "Oh, if only I wasn't forced to keep the women and children safe, I would have won glory like Miderick did."
No, it wasn't the women and children. It was like something with wagons.
No, read what it says.
I think Metric does say that. He says like it's one of his victories, isn't it, that he manages to secure like 12 fucking wagons from the Gurkish or something, and it's like, yeah, I did it, and it's not really important, but
Right, that's Valamir, not Miderick.
that's Valamir, right? Okay.
Oh,
Right,
it's a good point. It's a good point. I
That's
got
what I
it.
was saying. Yeah. And then the Polder and Croy are like, yeah, a few men could hold them at the bridge, a few dead men. And does anybody have any fresh men? But no, Polder and Croy's men are blown. They're tired. And Colonel Glocktail's like, ha, my men are fresh. And everyone's Salem Ruse, and everybody's like, what? Like us? Really? Oh, I don't know about that. And he goes, chomping at the bit to have at the enemy, I dare say.
Chomping at the bit, my lord.
And who do we know that guy? Do we know who that is? It just says chomping at the bit, braid of one of Glockta's staff, clearly too drunk to realize what he was volunteering for.
Okay,
it would out as well. Just before we go on, it's actually champing at the bit, not chomping.
No, it's chomping. It's CHOME. Right here. Oh,
no, it's written down, but like the actual phrase is champing, not chomping.
I see. It's interesting.
chomping. It's
Well,
American.
in Joe's universe,
chomping at the bit.
No,
hey,
no, the original is champing. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you Brits
Okay.
messed up somewhere. You Brits messed
hey,
up.
George. I apologize, audience. George is taking an unusual amount of pride inside of his British background. How dare you take pride in your culture,
British
George?
versus American thing. I think it's just a misunderstanding.
It's too much
Yeah, you're probably right.
Downton Abbey. That's what it is.
Yeah, it could be.
I do think though we do know that a Lord Smund may just saying he would totally be the person to follow Glockta, and then maybe that's why Prince Ladislaw was like, I need Lord Smund in my retinue because he worked with Colonel Glockta. So now he's like, I'm chopping out the bit, me lord.
Oh my god, that actually could be. Oh my god.
It's Lord Smund. It's canon now.
It could be.
So, yeah, they think they're all. He's like, yes, my regiment's ready. It's interesting that Glockta says this. This proves, though, that what Glockta talked about later on is that Glockta was seeking glory he wasn't seeking like particularly promotion for sure. Like he wanted to be something, but like he was like Giselle. He's like, I want glory, I want honor, I want power. So I think that's interesting that he volunteers.
Yeah, and and Varus is like, I knew I could count on you, my friend. And it's like, of course. And Varus is like, of course. He can always be relied upon to jump at the faintest hint of vainglorious showing off, regardless of how fatal it might be. And then I like how it talks about how Varus and Galacta, commander and favorite officer, fencing master and finest pupil, and as big a pair of bastards as one could find in a year of searching, drew themselves up and gave each other a salute vibrating with feigned emotion. So Varus, and we see this because remember when Varus runs into Galacta in the blade itself, he's all like, "Oh,
this is awkward." Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Varus is somebody who lives vicariously and gets away with it. It's annoying. So whatever.
Varus is just not a very good commander at all. He's a good fencing master, I think, and that's it.
Yes, yeah, he is a good fencing master, and I mean, I would say Varus would be a capable colonel, as Goris always goes through his little rung of things. He would be a capable colonel, but that's about as high as you could go. As they're talking about, going now, we mentioned Croy and stuff earlier, but, he talks about, he does have the line being like, oh, well, maybe dead men can hold the bridge or whatever, right? So they there's this vibe, this change of a feeling in the air that this is like a suicide charge. And
Glocker is too vain to realize what he's getting himself into. He's too obsessed with his own.
I would agree with you to a certain degree because he mentions it in the blade itself, right? Like he thought maybe he could turn them back, or he just was going for a glorious charge. If he died, he died. The problem is that Galacta has is that the fact that he lived, was captured, had to live 2 years in a Gurkish prison, and then went home and had to act like everything was fine. That's his issue. He was still like I think he knew he had this faint emotion with him, and then Tunney is like, all right, my lord, I'm ready to go with you. And he goes, no. This is interesting. He does this to two people. He's like, no, Tunney, you're going to be Lord Marshal one day, Tunney. No. We don't want you getting into battle. That's ridiculous. That is kind of sweet, actually.
That is very sweet. Him and West, right?
Yes, in West, he says, no, my friend. No, you can't go. This implies that that Galacta knows it's a suicide charge, and he is just doing it for the glory because he thought maybe he can push him back or he'll die. Whatever, who cares? It's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Laissez-faire.
He didn't want to put West at risk because he talks about how his sister would need him, and he doesn't want to put Tunney at risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Back to mother. Because obviously that's not the real reason. He just doesn't want Tunney to die because he's green.
yes. But that's the interesting part about it. That's the thing that makes Galacta so interesting is the fact that he's got all these, glory or I like torturing people. But then he has these moments where he is so human that he just doesn't want this kid to fucking die for no reason. What's the point in that? No, Tunney, don't be ridiculous. You're going to be Lord Marshal one day, which is hilarious because he doesn't rise above the rank he's currently at. Which also, too, there's a whole aspect of Tunney. How much did this impact Tunney? He obviously looked up to Galacta a whole bunch, and then he saw the result of that. He knows that Galacta became, the Archlector. He knows what kind of person he is now, to a rough degree. He no wonder he didn't want to rise to the ranks. That's like the first thing, and everything else reinforces that throughout the war that he shouldn't rise through the ranks, so that just leads to problems. So that's just so interesting.
It makes it all the greater as well when Tunney finally does do that glorious charge at the end of the Heroes, and even though it wasn't a real charge,
but he gives it his all.
Tunney, I feel like Tunney, if in a Born in Another Word, he'd be like Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan. Like he's got this vibe that he would be that he is like that he is not actually doing it for anybody but himself. Mm-hmm. But whenever you cut away everything else, all his personal desires, he's actually one hard bastard. So he just doesn't ever get to shine. But he turns West away. He talks about his sister, which shows that Galacta in his final moments of glory was thinking about already how symbolic.
No. But remember, she's young. She's like a kid at this time.
No, I know. I don't mean it. I don't mean it that way.
Don't be a fucking pervert.
No, but we also do know that Glockter came to West, or actually no, Glockter came to
I didn't mean in a sexual way,
house,
Jeffrey.
and they all know each other. So
I don't mean in a sexual way, Jeffrey. I mean in the way of like him thinking like he thinks of her like she made an impression on him as somebody that he thinks about. So
okay,
there's a
he definitely thinks of her more than West does. Go ahead, George.
You just cut it out, Jeffrey. Cut it all out.
I find it very interesting that this chapter really does show that I think that Glockter really is just like a product of his time. Like he's trying to be as successful as possible, and the fact that this is what it takes to be a bastard and be over the top and just be an absolute opportunist at all points is just what you need to get by in this sort of world. But then, like you say, he shows these human moments that shows that he doesn't really maybe not feel that way. And I just felt that's so interesting because usually this character would be the villain. Glockter's the villain. Even in the original trilogy and the Age of Madness, Glockter would be the villain. But we like him, and this is why.
Well, like what Glockter says inside the original trilogy, he was like, if I had died on that bridge, they would have probably made a statue of me. But because he didn't die, that's the problem. Is he thought like Glockter? I think Glockter grasped something in the world. He said he was a different person and all that. Like he is so much different, but he also did understand something. He understood that the way the world works in the very beginning. He thought it. I think Glockter had actually not. I don't think he used it properly, but he had a good perspective on the world. Like he understood that like there was a job that needed to be done. He was going to go in a charge. It would be glorious. If he dies, whatever, he's lived. Like he didn't have a wrong perspective on life. He would, like you said, he would be the hero in this scenario. And he was to people like probably like Tunney and Wes for a long time. So it's interesting to think about. But then he turns around and he's like, "What about you, Ruse? You want to go with me?"
Ruse is like, my leg.
Yeah.
I would, but my leg.
And he goes, I understand entirely. Carrying that body of yours around is a challenge for any leg. Like, good lord.
He goes. He's like. Plus, we wouldn't want to waste the horse on you. They would wear. He would basically kill the poor thing.
I wouldn't want to burden some undeserving horse with it. Like, dude, you're a dick.
From the perspective of Glockter, who thinks he's going to sacrifice himself, this makes sense why he hates or really has no sympathy for Ruse at the beginning.
He's actually a coward.
Because he is a coward.
Yeah.
So it's like, I went down there and I went through all this, and you're rich now.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, in Glockter too, he's very spiteful in the Blade itself, so I have no doubt about that. But he also has this perspective because he's such a complex human being that he's seeking this glory and stuff, but like he still wants that glory where he's at in the original trilogy. He still wants to win. He doesn't. He just is so much more cynical now. Instead of having the charisma and everything like that, he's a different person in that way. But he still has these same base desires, and the base desires aren't really bad. They just came with side effects.
Side effects is one way to put it. That's good. Side effects. I love it. And so yeah, I mean, he doesn't let Tunney and Wes go. Tunney and Wes give him a rigid salute to the point where tears form up in Tunney's eyes. It's crazy to see.
That's what I mean. It definitely impacted the poor lad.
Yeah. And then Glockter jerks the reins on the horse, and the horse like reared up, and there's like a beautiful, picturesque, snapshot of somebody, rearing up on their horse with the sun in the background.
Yes.
And as Ruth said, have you ever seen a more beautiful bastard? And then Glockter turns, he rides down the hillside, down towards the bridge, and that's pretty much it.
I like too how Joe does make fun of like these glorious moments and all this, right? But like they happen, and then just like in real life, these epic moments do happen. It's just there's more than that going on, and I think that's something that Joe does so well. Joe doesn't say, he's not so grim dark. He's like, yeah, he died on his horse on his way down the hill. Isn't that funny? He's like, no. He did do the glorious charge. He just happened to survive. Which just turns out to be the worst thing Glockta ever had to go through.
And the fact as well that if there was proper planning and proper organization, it would have been unnecessary.
Yep.
Very true.
Very true. This is why logistics wins wars. Would you say it's all Rue's fault?
It's all Rue's fault, yeah.
But as a quarter, I don't think he's responsible for the entire thing. He's just a quartermaster, I think, just for the first, or
Yeah,
just
I
for
told him already.
Squad. I think just for Glockta's squad.
It's the fault of the whole command structure in general.
It is.
They're watching a fencing match while the army is vulnerable.
I'll mention it again whenever it comes time, and we all will, I'm sure. But this moment that Glockta has when he charges down the hill or whatever, it does not remind you of another glorious charge where somebody survived when they didn't think they maybe would. I think that is done so well too, right? At the spoilers, whenever Leo does his charge, he thinks I'm gonna win. Glockta, I don't think Glockta thinks he's gonna win. I think Glockta is like, I'm doing the right thing, and he's like, then he regrets it later because of all the suffering he had to go through. That is a key difference. That's so good. They're so similar in their acts, but so different in their mindset, and that's what separates them. Leo doesn't become Glockta. He is the antithesis of Glockta in motivation. And that is so well, like this little part right here, we'll be seeing these layers and layers and layers. Joe does. You can say what you will about the Age of Madness. You don't like the way it goes or the characters. You find it XYZ. But the way he builds on the foundation of the rest of the series is incredible. There's so much foreshadowing and character work, and it's incredible how well he does that.
Well put. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to expand, but we have to wait, unfortunately.
Yes, we have to wait. We gotta wait.
So with that, boys, how do you rate this chapter?
It's got to be a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 9.
9 out of 9.
9 out of 9.
10 fingers at this point, so 10 out of 10.
No. We're not switching up, all right? We're not.
It's true. This is my ranking system, George. That was a joke. I obviously not a 9. I've already said everything I think I need to say about it.
Trifecta. It's a great chapter. It's not so long. It's actually kind of like only 17 pages or something, but you know what? It's just like every page, every paragraph, every sentence just like dripped with
oozes.
with meaning, with callbacks, with implications for, like you said, parallels down the line. It's great. Love the chapter. It's top 2 in this book for me. So, which
fair.
But George, yours? You said 9, right? Do you have anything to add?
No. We've gone through everything. It's absolutely fantastic. I think the Chev and Java chapters, maybe not so much, but every chapter that deals with an existing character from a different perspective in this book is absolutely fantastic. There's going to be a lot of 9 out of 9s in this book.
Yeah, no shame on that one.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
If you can't tell, listeners, Jeff is not a fan.
Basically, after Red Country to Jeff, Red Country is the pick of Joe's work. Just
no, I like sharp ends. There's some stuff in there I was just like, I was ambivalent about. And then obviously I have thoughts on Age of Madness, but that's neither here nor there. This is sharp ends, and I like sharp ends. I just don't love it. I don't really love the Java and Chev.
Was that never know, Jeff? On a second read through, you might.
Yes, Jeffrey. You promised that when you got to sharp ends and Age of Madness that you would come in with an open mind.
You're right. And so far I have, but luckily he's just a beautiful bastard. So, all right, yes. You're right. All right, folks, I'll stop being a little cunt. I'll stop.
Jeffrey, you're a very big cunt. Don't demean yourself. You're a
No,
beautiful bastard, Jeffrey.
I'm diminutive in the stature, so you know. Well, okay. So George, with that, why don't you hook us up with our next segment, which is our best meme of the week, and take it away, Georgie boy.
Yes, absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't recall the exact episode, but I misattributed a meme that was done by Lickshots419, and I accidentally attributed it to Taco Tuesdays. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. If I got that confused, if both of you are listening, that was my bad. But this week we actually do have Taco Tuesdays, and I'm going to read it again just to make sure it is actually correct. Yes, it is Taco Tuesdays, and since there hasn't been a meme this week, since it's been a little bit quiet, we're still waiting for the sign-on list. Come on, you're gonna get it up. This is just from the end of Red Country. The bit in Arrested Development when Tobias paints himself blue. It's like, I'm blue, but it's I'm Comfort. Because obviously all the tattoos are blue. And that's the only tenuous connection, but it makes it work so well.
That's hilarious. It also applies to Fenris the Feared.
And Savian.
I am Fenris the Feared.
And Savian too.
And Savian, yes. Well, isn't Savian confident? I was kidding. I'm kidding.
You just make the same meme again, but it's like I'm not confident.
That's even better, George. That's so funny. George, you gotta do that, George.
I'm doing it right now. I'm doing
do it right now. Send it to Space Man. That's so funny.
Let's do it.
I'm not confident.
But yes, thank you so much for that, Taco Tuesdays.
Yes, thank you, Taco Tuesdays.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, folks, then that'll be it for this episode, and make sure you tune in next week. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we cover Small Kindness, Westport, Autumn 573.
Make sure you follow us on all of our social media or shoot us an email at circleoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening.
I'll be back before you know it.